After deployment, monitoring is how you prove the system remains fit for use as the world changes. This AiQualtest episode gives product, engineering, risk, and quality teams a practical, vendor-neutral playbook for post-market monitoring basics in 2026. Use a simple operating loop: watch, signal, investigate, and act. That loop keeps conversations concrete when stakeholders disagree about quality or risk. Why this matters: regulated and high-impact AI needs ongoing surveillance of performance and safety. Post-market monitoring connects field signals to corrective action. It is a governance obligation, not optional analytics. Enterprises shipping AI into banking, insurance, healthcare, and digital operations cannot rely on hallway demos. Buyers, auditors, and internal second-line risk partners ask for repeatable methods, version artifacts, and clear ownership. If you cannot explain how you tested and what evidence you keep, you do not have AI quality, you have optimism. Core concepts come next. Do not memorize jargon, operationalize each idea into cases, metrics, and gates. Concept 1: Signal Catalog. Define complaints, adverse events, quality dips, and misuse reports to watch. In practice, treat this as a measurable property: define what good looks like, attach evidence, and track it across model, prompt, data, and tooling changes. Concept 2: Investigation Triggers. Set thresholds that force formal investigation. Avoid endless watching. In practice, treat this as a measurable property: define what good looks like, attach evidence, and track it across model, prompt, data, and tooling changes. Concept 3: Population Shifts. Monitor whether user mix or input domains changed. Performance can silently degrade. In practice, treat this as a measurable property: define what good looks like, attach evidence, and track it across model, prompt, data, and tooling changes. Concept 4: Corrective Actions. Link findings to CAPA-like actions with owners and due dates. In practice, treat this as a measurable property: define what good looks like, attach evidence, and track it across model, prompt, data, and tooling changes. Concept 5: Reporting Lines. Escalate material findings to risk and leadership. Document decisions. In practice, treat this as a measurable property: define what good looks like, attach evidence, and track it across model, prompt, data, and tooling changes. Concept 6: Revalidation Queues. Know when monitoring results require fresh validation before continued use. In practice, treat this as a measurable property: define what good looks like, attach evidence, and track it across model, prompt, data, and tooling changes. Here is a real-world pattern. Setting: medtech company monitoring an AI triage support feature in field clinics. Post-market signals showed rising disagreement rates in a new clinic population. Investigation found language and workflow differences not covered in validation. The feature was limited pending updated validation and training. Regulators later reviewed the monitoring file and found timely actions documented. Notice the pattern: define scope, run controlled tests, capture evidence, decide with named owners, and feed failures back into the next cycle. That is how AI quality becomes a system property, not a slide. Common mistakes slow mature programs. Mistake 1: Assuming launch validation lasts forever. Teams that skip this create silent risk that surfaces in production or audits. Mistake 2: Collecting signals without investigation triggers. Teams that skip this create silent risk that surfaces in production or audits. Mistake 3: Failing to document corrective actions and decisions. Teams that skip this create silent risk that surfaces in production or audits. Mistake 4: Ignoring population and workflow shifts in the field. Teams that skip this create silent risk that surfaces in production or audits. The antidote is discipline: small goal sets, explicit thresholds, change control, and monitoring that connects production incidents back to evaluation suites. Key takeaways for your team. Takeaway 1: Define signals, triggers, and corrective action paths. Takeaway 2: Watch for population and context shift. Takeaway 3: Escalate and document material findings. Takeaway 4: Revalidate when monitoring demands it. Write these into your team wiki and release checklist so they survive staffing changes. Your next steps this week: write a post-market signal catalog and investigation thresholds for one deployed AI system. Then, establish a monthly monitoring review with documented actions. Keep the artifacts, prompts, datasets, scores, approvals so you can defend the decision later. Where this fits the AiQualtest method, learn the foundations with AiVELabs, practice with hands-on cases, and validate with governed evaluation evidence. Visit aiqualtest.com and learn.aiqualtest.com. Thanks for watching. Subscribe for weekly AI quality, evaluation, and governance episodes. Additional depth for practitioners: treat post-market monitoring basics as a controlled experiment. Version the inputs, freeze the environment where possible, record who approved exceptions, and rerun after every material change, model upgrade, prompt edit, retrieval index refresh, or tool permission change. Pair quality metrics with latency, cost, and safety signals so trade-offs are visible to product owners. When results regress, open an incident-style review even if the feature still looks fine in a demo. Governed teams prefer boring, evidence-backed releases over surprising wins that cannot be reproduced.